Well, good afternoon, y'all. So today's going to be another kind of short video. Unfortunately, all this hurricane rain coming up the coast, and yeah, it's just a little hectic being up here, and yeah, just visiting some family right now. Anywho, we're going to go over some stuff today about piezoelectric effect and reverse piezoelectric effect, and yeah, we're just gonna do little science lessons about stuff that I want to learn more about, or even if you're interested in learning about them as well, feel free to tag along. I'm going to talk to you guys about just some things that have been on my mind lately. I always like to look at things in a pretty in-depth view, or I'll try and do information about or learn information about certain topics as much as I can. I'm definitely not always right, for sure. And it's even some of the stuff I want to go over, like science wise. It's probably not all super correct, but hey, that's what the point of starting some of these videos are, is you're able to communicate back and forth on ideas, whether they're right or wrong. And hopefully people just don't be bashing. It's real simple. And yeah, I'm doing this for very specific reasons. I feel like talking about certain subjects, or even talking about your feelings in open spaces, it shouldn't be frowned upon. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you should be a man about things, but at the same time, why can't guys talk about their feelings? Think about that. You're supposed to be a role model, right? You should be a role model in all aspects: physical, mental, financial, however you seem fit. But a good way to do is being able to talk about your freaking feelings, man. uh, but anyway, what's been on my mind lately is everybody just seems to be so angry. Like, and this isn't like, this is everybody. Like, I'd be driving down the road, and like I'll see like a couple arguing on the side of the road, or people doing weird things. And yeah, I don't know. I don't. Maybe it's just something I've noticed, and maybe other people have noticed too. I feel like we need to get some happiness back up in here, y'all. The happiness, I feel like, is not superb on this planet right now, and yeah, we need to change that. Positive upbringing, resonating just a little bit higher, and focusing on your well-being, and obviously the people around you, but you come first technically. It's always good to put other people first, and be selfless and do these things, because it makes you feel good. Whenever you help somebody, it makes you feel good, right? Yeah. I love helping people, and it's one of those things I've always done. I've definitely put myself in plenty of bad spots before, because I wanted to help you. I would give people equipment. I would give people my time when I really didn't have the time. And it's one of those things where, ooh, kitty, look at him, look at him. You guys see him? I wonder if he's gonna come over here. Ooh, yeah. Come here. Come here. Zeke mama. Hey. Come here. Yeah? You want some snugs? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Come here. Tiny little thing. All right. All right. Sorry. I know you want me to pet you. Sorry, guys. I'm always gonna stop to pet a cat. I love my kitties. I pretty much love all animals too, because they're all important in their own right and way. Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about already. So anyway, we're going to talk about some piezoelectric effects and reverse piezoelectric effects on today's, well, I guess you can call it mini science topic review. And again, this channel is really just about what I'm doing for the day. I'm going to start doing workouts. I'm going to start doing anything and everything. Again, this is just kind of me woo-sawing myself into holding a camera in front of my face all the time. It's weird, guys. It's a little weird. So anyway, piezoelectric effect. For those who don't know, quartz crystal, we use it all the time. Yeah, like piezoelectric effect is, you know, those lighters that you don't like scrape it, but you push down mechanically. When you push down mechanically on a quartz crystal, it can create electricity, a spark. Okay, so it's something that we use all the time, and we don't even realize it. Lighters, we use quartz crystals and watches and stopwatches, all kinds of different clocks. Quartz crystals are more important than you would think in any person's regular daily life. Okay. Anywho, so piezoelectric effect. I'm gonna turn this camera around a little bit. Paper I got. So piezoelectric effect is a mechanical force on or a pressing of weight onto quartz. Okay, so imagine like this is a big block of weight, or maybe even like a person jumping down, up and down on it, or just like your lighter, you go to click it, and when it clicks, you get a spark, you get the flame that's ignited with the fuel inside. People use this effect all day, every day, and they don't even realize it sometimes. Anyway, you press quartz crystal and you compress it, and then it produces electricity and light, aka your spark from your lighter. So a nice little example is like your quartz, you'd have people dancing on it. You could potentially have sparks come out like that. You can have electricity on it. People sitting on it, you have one just like the lighter. Once you sit on it, you've compressed the crystal and you ignite the flame. So just like your lighter, once you're sitting on it, your tool is activated, if that makes sense. And until you get up, the light goes out. Or when you get up, the light goes out. That's also just weight coming down or just compressing quartz crystal. So dancing, sitting, or simply weight being applied can cause a spark for the acoustic cavitation bubble. What that is what we were talking about the other day with the sonoluminescent bubbles, acoustic cavitation bubbles, or you can call it a star in a jar. It's all the same thing. So this principle, if correct, people in the old times, they would dance on these things, sit on them, and then they would create this spark, and that's how they could potentially create electricity. It's kind of like the Baghdad battery you found in Egypt. It is a very good possibility that they were doing these things through like just dancing on them, and then they would charge these batteries up. It sounds a little bit wild, but it is possible. Ooh, that sun. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm just gonna take a second right now, y'all. The sun is popping. Oh yeah, that feels good. Okay. Anyway, sorry. You ever the sun just hits you just right, and you just soak all that vitamin D up. So there's also a reverse piezoelectric effect. So therefore is it's electricity being produced, or given to quartz crystals. So sorry, I didn't mean to say that like that. So what I mean by this is reverse piezoelectric effect. Okay, let's say you have a quartz crystal. I'm gonna flip you around real quick, and so what we have here is a urinal cake. Don't judge me; it's brand new. Okay, it's brand new. It's just in here for smelly goods. So imagine this is a quartz crystal. Okay, and then you apply alternating current into this. Okay, so let's say your positive is right here, your negative's over here. When you apply this current, let's say the quartz crystal on a quantum level, this is a very tiny reaction, but goes up like that. You see how the prongs go up? Imagine they're producing little ultrasound waves out of this. Okay, now alternating current goes back and forth, back and forth. It's in the same wire. All right, so let's just say this same thing, instead of having your positive right here and your negative over here, you alternate it, and then you have your positive over here and your negative over here. Then what happens is the quartz, instead of doing this and producing an ultra wave sound, it does this. Okay, it becomes concave on a quantum mechanic level. All right, then What is oscillating out of that is ultrasound waves. So the reason why we're talking about this is ultrasound waves. Think about a subwoofer, okay? A subwoofer cone goes out, then in, out, then in, okay? It's propagating oxygen molecules, and it's like, imagine like a sine wave of air pressure, right? Ultrasound waves are much, much higher in frequency, much higher in frequency, okay? And they're not propagating with like how acoustic waves do, okay? A subwoofer, and what I mean by this is a subwoofer can have cancellation, okay? So when you push the cone out and push it back in, if you have another subwoofer directly across from it, parallel, and it's the opposite phase, you will have one subwoofer. Hold on, this might be a little bit easier. So you have two subwoofers, right? But this one is pushing out while this one is pushing back. All right, so back and out. And then imagine two subwoofers going like this, or two cones, right? It's a little strange looking on the camera. But if it does this in perfect oscillation, you will have what's called cancellation. Okay, the acoustic waves will literally just evaporate into nothing, right? Ultrasound waves, I do not believe behave that same route. And what I mean by that is, again, 10th grade education up here, so not special, not anybody that is super educated by any means. I just like reading and talking. And so ultrasound waves, even though they're one's going, the quartz crystal, when you put alternating current to it, is doing this, it's also doing this. It does not provide cancellation, okay? They still perform the same acoustic wave or ultrasound wave, and that will resonate forward. So moving forward, an ultrasound wave never moves backwards or never has cancellation. Okay, something to always kind of think about and consider. Ultrasound waves are pretty cool, and they are roughly from 30,000 hertz to 50,000 hertz for quartz crystal resonating like tuning forks. Yeah, the frequency spectrum goes way higher up. I mean, there is unfathomable amount of vibrations per second. It's probably just like the Planck scale, but an opposite is the Planck scale essentially goes on forever in quantum computing engineering systems. Basically, every scale just gets smaller, 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 smaller. All right, I'll stop. And it's just like with frequencies. I believe it's the same way. It just keeps going higher, 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 higher. Sorry, I'll stop again. But kind of the same concept. So something to think about. The higher you go in frequency, maybe the slower you go. Something weird to think about. Anyway, so real quick. So reverse piezoelectric effect. It is quite literally the opposite of this one. This piezoelectric effect uses mechanical force to apply to quartz crystal, and it makes electricity and light. Reverse piezoelectric effect. Capacitor or electricity or lightning strike. Lightning strikes can cause this effect. Okay, so lightning strike to quartz crystal produces ultrasound waves being made from the quartz flexing. So remember, the quartz on a quantum level is doing this. And unlike a acoustic wave from a subwoofer that has cancellation, ultrasound waves do not have cancellation. Oh, hey, there's another kitty. Hey, you want loves? Okay, maybe not. Anywho, so a good example could be potentially the Great Pyramids of Giza. Okay, so what I am proposing here is just like with lightning strikes. Okay, I'm trying to get this centered real quick without it. Ooh, perfect. So imagine this is your Great Pyramid. So the King's Chamber, I believe this is a acoustic cavitation bubble right here. This is where it would be. maybe even producing sulfuric acid, which I found in my testing. I'm sorry, not testing. I've not built anything to this just yet. It's out of my range of knowledge. And but anyway, my research says that sulfuric acid, in combination with sonoluminescent bubble, star in a jar, or acoustic cavitation bubble, it goes by all three names, could be potentially 3,000 times stronger. 3,000, technically 3,200 is what the paper I read is. So, Great Pyramid of Giza. So think of it like this. And Jeffrey Drum from the Land of Kim is much more invoked on this information. He's a very intelligent person. He's been the forefront on this type of theory. So this right here, just the bubble idea is kind of mine, but everything else is his. Anyway, so the Great Pyramid of Giza has black basalt right here. Okay? Then, what black basalt does is it gets heated up during the sunlight, and just like our blacktop pavement today, there's always a ton of heat coming off of it. Well, we just let that heat resonate out into nowhere, where we don't even use it. Why? We should start using it. So the pyramids are an 8-sided triangle. Yes, they are 8-sided. They're slightly concave on each side. Extreme technology built this. And the slope is at 51 degrees. Okay? 51 degrees allows the heat to slide up through wind. Heats up the side of the pyramid, or heat rolls up the side of the pyramid, and essentially makes a little vortex of hot air mixing with cold air, and you can create clouds through this. All right. Now, underneath the pyramid was running water. So they tapped into an underground source of water. The earth has a small underground river system under it. It's been found by scientists. I don't really know the full spectrum of science on it, but there's definitely water underneath the earth's surface, without a doubt. And so this running water would create a negative static charge through, I believe it's piezoelectric electricity. So think like when you're a kid, or even when you're doing it now, and you are rubbing your feet across the carpet, charging up, and then you go and touch somebody just like that, and then you shock them, right? You're building up a static charge of electricity. It's kind of the same way, just way on a bigger scale. Okay, I'm gonna flip you back around. All right, so you have this static charge building up underneath the pyramids, and the pyramids were built down a layer, essentially more into the bedrock. And the reason being is, just like with car audio grounds, I would always ground my vehicle to the frame and to the back of the alternator bracket, because it's the best ground. You want to have, the ground needs to be secure. That is why they dug the pyramid down a little bit, and then they started building it. It's for grounding purposes. Anyway, heat would roll up the pyramid using this 51-degree inclination, put it into the atmosphere right here, and then there is a process, you'd call it, it's a rainstorm generator, and these are all over the place. Stonehenge is a rainstorm generator as well. And these positive clouds with a positive charge would roll over the top of the pyramid. Like Jeffrey Drum, this isn't my idea, by the way, just this thing is, and would roll over this pyramid and lightning strike it. Okay, and when it would lightning strike, you're getting a positive cloud or charge to a negative charge lightning strike that would hit the top of the pyramid. Again, somebody can check this math, but I'm pretty sure this is how this is working. But it's a good way to start talking about these things. And that lightning strike is a ton of AC current, okay? Sorry, my drawings kind of suck. But AC current running down the pyramid, which is all limestone, quartz, red rose granite, all magnetic stone containing vast majority of quartz crystal. And so this AC current, which is, these lightning strikes are some of the strongest lightning strikes that you can have on planet Earth. Okay? Super strong. We're talking potentially millions of volts when a lightning strike hits. So anyway, lightning strike would resonate down through the top of the pyramid, hit these 5 blocks of tuned cavities. And what I mean by that, I say tuned, is above the king's chamber is essentially just a giant subwoofer box. But instead of acoustic waves, it's providing ultrasound waves for this sonoluminescent bubble or acoustic cavitation bubble inside the sarcophagus or inside the king's chamber. Okay, so those 5 giant blocks above the king's chamber, each one is carved and each one is specifically tuned for a resonancy or frequency of ultrasounds. So this is different ultrasound waves. So there's multiple different kinds, and we can figure out we can figure out what they're tuned to, but I don't know if the science is even there to understand it. But those blocks above here, each one is like, this one would be like, let's say 30,000 hertz. This one would be, let's say 35,000 hertz. Let's say this one would be 40,000 hertz. Let's say this one would be 45,000 hertz, right? So you're getting all these different ultrasounds that are coming from these tuned acoustic blocks made out of quartz crystal limestone. And remember, each time that alternating current is going like this is what's happening on a quantum level to the quartz crystal and the limestone. Just like this, okay? Propagating ultrasound waves. And unlike acoustic waves, these ultrasound waves do not cancel each other out. They just keep on rocking. All right? So, lightning strike, plakow, 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 plakow. King's chamber of the pyramid, and then that chamber would create acoustic cavitation bubbles and potentially separating hydrogen, if that would be correct. It would be kind of wild if this is true, but I feel like we're on the path to understanding a little bit more. This would mean that the Great Pyramids of Giza were potentially doing hydrogen fusion or fission. I don't even know. Again, this is where somebody who's super smart needs to come in here and chat up. And anyway, these 4 air shafts, they're not air shafts, I don't think. They're for, I would say they're for beamforming, the amount of hydrogen. And what I mean by that is perfect transmission of a acoustic wave or ultrasound wave or propagating wave should be about half the wavelength of the function that you're trying to use. Those shafts, they've been pulled out before, or people have, they dug into them, and the shafts are apparently, like, they think they're resonating with hydrogen. And what I mean by that is the acoustic chamber resonates at 432 hertz, I believe it is, in the Grand Gallery. So they were resonating using quartz, red rose granite, and the acoustic properties of, you can say it like it is, but it's like, I believe they were using some type of beam-forming technology to radiate different pathways of light, so different wavelengths of light into these chambers for a catalyst reaction of this acoustic cavitation bubble. Very strange, because the thing is, like, at the end of these, I'll flip you back around. So there's 2 air shafts that go, they don't meet the ends by any means. They go to about half, just, I don't know, probably like 10-20 feet of block on each side, and that could be totally wrong. That's, I don't know. Anyway, Queen's chamber would be right here, King's chamber right here. There's 2 for the King's chamber and then 2 for the Queen's chamber. So they were, and at the ends right here, what was found is a copper, you can call it a handle, rod, whatever you want to call it, but it was embedded into limestone. Think about that. Okay. I don't have my tablet with me, or I would show you a picture. And but those handles are 90% copper, 10% arsenic. That's what we found with. I don't know if that was the actual testing done on those handles. I don't think it was, but we found copper that the Egyptians used, and it was 90% copper, 10% arsenic. Why would they do that? It changes the molecular structure of the actual copper antennae, and they did it for a reason, and then we need to figure out why they did that. Anyway, those an antennae, can be a transmitter or a receiver. Okay, and the transmitter, let's say you're getting varying voltage through this antennae. So in like Coral Castle, Ed Lee Scowen stuff, he had a dielectric switch that would go like this. Pop, 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 pop. And what it was doing is was applying variable electric voltage, whether it be DC current or AC current, okay, to his antennae above the box. And he was propagating a half wavelength transmission of hydrogen formula outwards. And he was, when oscillating that, there was a special little trick he was doing, and I have a hypothesis for it. I haven't done it by any means, but it's a pretty solid hypothesis, and I'm interested about it. Anyway, he was doing something with oscillating hydrogen formula. And these antennae that are above these nodes, there's one right there, one right there, and one right there, and one right there. Guys, the pyramids were way more advanced than I believe we are letting them on to believe. I'm not saying they're not tombs, because at the end of the day, we technically don't know. However, I believe the science is supporting Great Pyramids of Giza were extremely advanced pieces of technology. Essentially, we're looking at them like some angry beavers, in my opinion. We're like looking at them and we're like, no, copper chisels and sticks. I'm like, oh, okay, if you want to believe that. Great Pyramids of Giza are probably some of the most advanced things on this planet, in my opinion. Even more advanced than our stuff today. Yeah, more advanced than our nuclear bombs, or more nuclear fission, fusion, whatever you want to call it. The reason being is, if this is true and they were separating hydrogen, or they're doing something in there chemically wise, because in the Grand Gallery, it has a sloped chamber, and up towards the top, there's chemical staining, okay? Where there's chemical staining and there's no hieroglyphics, guys, that's a functioning piece of equipment. The pyramids were a functioning piece of equipment that was used in, day out life, okay? And if those are antennae, that means they were beamforming, and beamforming is not an exact science. That's why those shafts are all curved. It's a customized material, just like Ed Lee Scowen's tool was a customized thing. Depending on your location on the planet and your density of the electromagnetic field coming off the planet, that's why all megalithic sites are in a straight line, or a line of magnetic field, is because they built it there on purpose. It works better. So with that being said, I think the pyramids are way undervalued, because if they are using the Earth's natural telluric currents, the Earth's natural magnetic limestone, then red rose quartz, granite, magnetic quartz-containing stone, and then they put basalt on the sides to heat up the pavement, and then the pyramid is at a 51-degree inclination for rolling hot air into the atmosphere and creating clouds, and then using those clouds as a static discharge, just like rubbing your feet on a carpet then touching somebody, same principle in a way, and then using that extremely strong lightning strike to strike the pyramid, and then using that current to apply ultrasound through quartz crystal, those 5 different stones. Each one is tuned to a different octave of ultrasound, and then plowing those ultrasounds into the sarcophagus of the king's chamber. they were, if this is even remotely true, they were using the Earth's own energy to provide hydrogen fission of some sort. That sounds wild to say, right? Stonehenge, not hydrogen fission in there by any means. Again, I could totally be wrong about this. This is a pure hypothesis right now. But Stonehenge is the same way. It's a rainstorm generator. It's got in White Horse Hills, same thing. It's made out of chalk. Jeffrey Jum covers this in his videos on Land of Kim. For rolling white horses, it's giant cumulonimbus clouds that regenerate thunderstorms using this type of technology. And then technology is just the Earth's technology, literally. This is true. Hey, kitty, you want to come in? Oh, you get some scratchies. Oh yeah. Okay. I now have a car cat. I don't know where this cat's been. Wow. Okay. All right then. You just exploring a little bit. I'm cool with it as long as you don't have fleas. But you got a flea car. Cool. Anywho, something to ponder about, if that is even remotely true. And we have these pyramids. They're all over the place, like Gandon Napang, whatever the word is. That's a really rudimentary version of this, I believe. I could be wrong, but the Great Pyramids of Giza, super advanced technology, in my opinion. And we are looking at it like monkeys. Yeah, we're looking at like, chisels, copper chisels and pillars and stuff. I'm like, maybe we should think about that. Anyway, wrapping up today's video because that's all I wanted to talk about today. And, but yeah, so it's a good day to, just be thankful for everything you got. I woke up today and like, I thank God for every day I have now, every single day, every single minute, every meal. I'm happy to be alive. I'm grateful to be alive and have the life I have. It's not the best life. It's not the most perfect life, but it's mine. You got to make it what you want, Anywho, with that being said, it's a good time to just thank yourself and thank the big man upstairs, whoever you believe in. Really, really dig down in yourself and bring out your own spirituality and think about that. Resonate within yourself. Tap into that nice organic or information that is within your own brain. Open the peepers. Just be open-minded. And we can use this collective to bring back the consciousness of everybody and uplift everybody in a positive manner. All right. Anyway, with that being said, I am logging off right now. I'm going to go eat some pizza. Scrumdiddlyumptious. And, but yeah, that is about it. Love you guys. All who is watching and will watch in the future, because I'm sure that's going to happen. So you from the future watching this, hi. Always funny. Good times. Other than that, that's about it. So, yeah. Thank God you're alive. Because I will assure you, light comes first. You are light. God is light. You are God. Not in that sense, but be thankful. Because I'll assure you, it's time to be. Bye, y'all. Love y'all.